8th from Holy Child Public School. Today, we will cover an aspect of very interesting topic of nervous system. Have you ever noticed that when we touch an hot object, we immediately remove our hand from the object? Do you know what does it refer to? It is all the magic of nervous system. Our sense organs send signals to our nerve cells, which in turn give back signals to hand muscles to remove hand. The action held just now is called reflex action.
Whenever we happen to come close to an object that is capable to harming us, we immediately withdraw the part of the body that is the most vulnerable. This is called reflex action. When a person touches the hot cup, the sensory receptors in the hand send a stimulus via the efferent pathway which contains efferent neurons to the spinal cord. The efferent neurons enter the dorsal nerve root to the spinal cord. The stimulus is passed on to the efferent neuron which travels the efferent pathway to reach the effector organ. In this case, the muscles of the arm. As a result, the hand is quickly pulled back. The brain is not involved in the reflex action.
The thinking tissue in our body consists of dense networks of arranged neurons. Nerves from the body meet in a bundle in the spinal cord. This spinal cord sends the information input to the brain. Brain consists of nerve cells called neuron. These neurons receive signals from spinal cord and further transmit it into the another nerve cell. And it finally gets back for taking actions.
Neurons communicate with each other, relay messages throughout your body and control all of your thoughts and actions. Neurons talk to each other using both electrical and chemical signals. Messages start as an electrical signal, travel rapidly down in neuron. When it reaches the gap between the neurons, messages need some help to get across. The information is transformed from one neuron to another as chemical signals which reaches the gap called a synapse. The release of those chemicals messages enter the synapse of another neuron conveying the message onward. It can transform the messages. This happens over and over and over and with repeated activity. The synapse gets stronger, so the next message is more likely to get transformed. That way, neurons learn to pass important messages and ignore the rest.
Now, let's continue further with human brain.
First, let's learn about some basic parts of brain. The forebrain processes sensory information, helps with reasoning and problem solving and regulates economic, endocrine and motor functions. The midbrain helps to regulate movement and process auditory and visual information. The hindbrain helps to regulate autonomic functions, relay sensory information, coordinate movement and maintain balance and equilibrium.
Reflex action is not only the function of spinal cord, as we know that we are thinking beings. Spinal cord is made up of nerves which supplies information to think about. Thinking involves more complex and neural connections. The brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. As we think about actions like writing, talking, our brain also has to send messages to the muscles. The brain has three major parts, namely the forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain. The forebrain is the main thinking part of brain. It has regions which receive sensory impulses from various receptors. Separate regions of forebrain are specialized in hearing, smell, sight and so on. Our heart beats without our thinking about it. Our food gets digested without even paying attention to it. There is another set of muscle movements over which we do not have any thinking control. Many of these involuntary actions are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. Actions including blood pressure, salivation are controlled by medulla in the hindbrain. Now a question may come in your mind that how are these brain tissues protected? A delicate organ like brain, which is so important for variety of activities, need to be carefully protected. For this, the body is designed so that the brain sits inside a bony box. Inside the box, the brain is contained in a fluid-filled balloon, which provides further shock absorption. If you run your hand down the middle of your back, you will feel a hard, bumpy structure. This is the vertebral column or backbone, which protects the spinal cord. Now, let's learn that how does tissue cause actions? When a nerve cell impulse reaches the muscle fiber must move. How does a muscle cell move? The simplest notion of movement at the cellular level is that muscle cells will move by changing their shape so that they can be shortened. Now, next question is, how do muscle cells change their shape? The answer must lie in the chemistry of cellular components. Muscle cells have special proteins that change both their shape and their arrangements in the cell in response to nervous electrical impulses. When this happens, new arrangements of these proteins give the muscle cells a shorter form. So today we learned about nervous system. Thank you.